Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Mike Rhodes, you are fighting on Bellator, okay? It's your Bellator debut because obviously you came in trying to come in short notice last time, didn't work out. It's all good. At least you've got a bit more time to get ready for this one as well. So you must be quite excited to get now with Bellator. You know, Scott Coker apparently looks after folks at that promotion. They've just got Gegard Mousasi as well. Do you feel like you've got a good place to kind of call home for now?
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, with the short notice thing, it just didn't happen. It just didn't work out. Obviously, they see something in me. They gave me another ring and asked me to fight. It's a tough fight, so it's not like they're giving me a gimme, but they asked me back, which was big for me. That just showed me that they wanted me, that they sought me out.
Yeah.
Not only for the short notice chance, but for now this fight with the full camp. And yeah, I'm blessed, man, and I'm excited. Everybody, everywhere I went, there's so many coaches and stuff, people who know me from my run in the UFC, and just, I'm very out there on social media, so I'm friends or acquaintances with a lot of people. And I saw 3 or 4 coaches this past week at the UFC, and they complimented me. They're like, "Oh shit, that's Biggie," like you look different, you seem different, and it's because I've had such a great training camp. It's been 8 weeks since I knew that I had to fight.
Nice.
They took another 4 or so weeks to announce it, but I had already been training for 4 or 5 weeks before they announced the fight. So my weight is the lowest it's ever been, and I know that's a cliche. People always say that, and but it's true, man. You ask anybody around. It's funny. CM Punk, Phil, my friend, trains with us. He bought me the portable sauna.
Nice.
Yeah, the portable saunas, because Bellator, we fight on reservations and casinos, and this one in Thackersville. What happened last time was the weight cut was like 40 minutes away, and so we didn't have time. Yeah, nothing's close to that casino. So knowing that, Phil looked out for me, got me the portable sauna, and then he heard today that last week when I was in Vegas, I was finishing workouts at 192 pounds, and this fight is at middleweight. Like, why in the hell did I buy this damn sauna box? We didn't need it, So it's been a great camp, and I've had enough time to just really train my ass off, literally and physically, figuratively, and I'm ready to go.
I was going to say, you said about your weight being a low speed. Is that because you now have you're managing your weight a lot better? Your walking weight is lower. Is that a case, or is that just you've got it down to a T where you can bring it down at the steady rate rather than a big drop? Is it just a way of managing your weight? What is it?
I think it's both, actually. What I think is, I fought at 170 for a while, and like everyone kind of knows my backstory about me being 270 pounds at one point and all that stuff. So
Yep.
People know that. And when you get fat cells and stuff like that in your body actually wants to be that way now. So it's not like, if you've never been bigger, you wouldn't understand. But whenever I eat anything, my body will literally absorb it and hold on to it. Like, people are like, "Oh, that's water weight," I'm like, no, it's not water weight for me. My body has taken that, and it's real now,
Yeah.
And so I think I stayed at 170 too long. When I fought Robert Whitaker, he bumped to 85 right after fighting me, and he told me that night in the cage, that weight cut killed me. I'm going up to 85, and I'm like, I think I'm going to stay. I think I can make it, and I think I did a little bit of damage to my body. So after that, even though I was like fighting I did a catch weight of 175, and then my next fight was at 185, I think I kind of did a number on my body. So even making 185 was harder than it was ever to make 170, which might sound strange to people, but I think I did a little bit of damage to my body at that point. So I had to figure that out. And after the Kendall Grove short notice fight situation happened, I sat down with my coaches. I started training with a different physio, Carbon World Health, which is an hour 15 drive for me, but the facility's great. They have the right people that just know what my body needs and scientifically how to get me in the best shape possible. So started working with them. Fit Food Milwaukee is a meal prep company here. They have joined my team, and they have been the savior to me because I've been able to eat literally every meal every day. I'm not missing anything, and it's brought my weight down gradually to the point where I don't feel bad. Like I said, I was finishing workouts at 192. Like I just finished rolling jiu-jitsu, light rounds and some movement stuff, obviously with the fight being this week. And I finished practice at 193, and that's from having a full breakfast and having a full lunch. You know, like I'm eating full meals. Most fighters at this point, you know, they might get a hard-boiled egg or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly what it is.
And I'm eating full meals, and my weight's low. So I think it's just a little bit of both. I got to start early with camp, but I also have been figuring out ways to cure my love of food outside of camp by, you know, cooking a lot of my meals myself, even though it's what I want to eat and what I would get going out. At least I know exactly how it's made, what's in it. So it allows me to, you know, be a little bit leaner and in a little bit better shape in between camps and in between fights.
I'm with you with the. I am a big lad naturally, man. I walk past the bakery and I put on a stone smelling it. You know, I don't have to touch it. It just goes on me. I try to do 170. It was a silly move. I know I did damage. I went down twice to 270 from 210, and that just wrecked me. It wrecked me.
And I figured, and my cuts were from higher than that. I was coming down from 230 to 170.
Damn, that is Anthony Johnson style, and you know what that did to him.
I'm a big man. I'm a big dude, man. People don't look at it and realize it, but like if you look at my stature, I don't look like I weigh that much, but I'm thick from head to toe, man. You would think I'm Aboriginal. You know, those people have heavy bones and shit. So, like, I got heavy bones or something, man, because I don't.
Man. I've got fat thighs and a fat ass from rugby. That's what I've got mine from, man. I've years of playing rugby, mate. That's when I know where it's gone because I know I can't wear trousers properly, so I know where mine is. But it's just one of them things. It's managing your weight. For me, I know myself. 185. I've got to go to 185. I can't do 205. I can do 205. But then that's when the weight class and the class in standard, it catches up with you after a few fights, and that's when you can't take that risk. You can do it at the start of a career, but you can't carry on with that. But then 170, it's not worth your health. You know, long term, when I'm 60, is it going to be beneficial to me doing those horrible cuts? Nah, look at Johnny Hendricks. Like, his body is inside. I can only imagine the damage that dude has done to his body that we don't know about.
His body's a wreck, man. And he fought in Halifax on the same card as Paul and Gerald, and I was there cornering those two guys. And he was cutting weight in the hot tub, you know, using the hot tub to get his sweat and stuff like that. And, you know, he said he was good. And, you know, he was eating. I saw him down in the lobby eating salads and stuff like that. So he's eating okay.
Yeah.
And then he made weight easy that time. And then all of a sudden, this next one, you know, he misses. And it just tells you that something's wrong with his body. He's damaging himself. And the weight cuts aren't worth it anymore, you know. Duke, before taking control of my eating habits in my career within the last, 12 weeks or so, Duke was actually asking me to fight at 205, you know, and I fought at 205 before, and I did a lot of it. You know, my first couple fights were actually at heavyweight stuff. But like you said, I could fight at 205, but I don't think I can be as competitive with those naturally bigger dudes.
Yes.
At 205. So I think 85 is my home. I think it's the perfect spot for me. And I think just holding myself accountable and making sure that I keep my weight in the right section. So I think I'm doing that. So, never.
In the UFC spout that you had, you were never getting world outclassed. You know, you weren't like, it wasn't like a world difference. You know, it seemed to me though, it was almost like it was too early. You were kind of still polishing off yourself, and you could actually see your maturity there. Then now you're just going on a tear outside. You could that's what it was. The annoying thing was, it's almost like if you could swap that around, the kind of time periods, it would probably work out. It would be a lot smoother because you're still just cutting off the kind of finer points and putting it all together. And it looks like a lot of things have come together for you. You know, the last few fights and victory, I've seen all that stuff. So going to Bellator against a guy who is, he's not got as many fights as yourself, but the dude is like a grappler. Like it's not about like the MMA fights; it's what he's done outside of it. The dude will want to naturally just grab you and get you to the ground to choke you out. Now he has won with a TKO victory, so that's one thing that you kind of got to be curious about and look out for, because guys get caught out with that. They always think about a takedown, and then they just throw this big looping punch that catches people off guard. He is, a grappler. Is this something like you say about jiu-jitsu, coach? Before we talked about, have you been drilling a lot on more kind of not just stuffing the takedown attempts, but your kind of way of getting back up quickly? The safest ways of getting up without getting caught.
Yeah, I think all of that, what you just said, I think was spot on. But I like the way it happened. People ask me, would I go back and do it a different way or anything like that? And I say no, because if I never had those circumstances, if I never had those situations, then I wouldn't be the man that I am today. I would be somebody different. I wouldn't have had those trial by fire, and that's what I went through. But definitely, I don't think I've ever been outclassed ever in a fight. I think I've made some stupid mistakes in fights, but I think that was, early on in my career, just not doing or not having the whereabout in a fight, and I think that comes with cage time and just putting in your time in the cage. Everybody wants these quick knockouts and quick victories. That's all fine and dandy, but when you get dragged into deep water and you've never been there before, that's something you got to know about yourself, and I think my stint in the UFC showed that I could hang with those caliber of fighters even when I wasn't ready fully. My first fight, short notice. I don't like to make excuses, so everything I'm about to say is literally just putting context with something. I took those losses. I'm a man. I lost those fights, but it made me better. But my first UFC fight, 36 pounds in 11 days. The guy has now since dropped. He has since popped 2 times with USADA. So he's been fucking booted for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much ever since our fight. He fought, I think, maybe once or twice since then before USADA came and he got popped. So, you got to put an asterisk by that. What was that guy doing?
Yeah.
Eric Silva. Look at Eric Silva now. Look at Eric Silva when I fought him.
He's a different boy now, isn't he? He is a different boy.
A world beater to a world eater. Like, he's not anywhere near the guy that he was.
He was on the same medication as Vitor Belfort.
That's what I'm saying, right? You can look at him out. Look at his body. Look at his fight style.
Yeah.
He's not aggressive. He's not any of that stuff,
No.
And I feel like I just made a dumb mistake in that fight. I should have stuffed the takedown instead of going for a guillotine against somebody at that level. Like I said, maturity, though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have had that mistake now. I might be making that mistake in my upcoming fight, And then, obviously, my fight with Rob, I draw a lot of inspiration from that. Honestly, I mean,
beautiful. Yeah, it was a great fight. I really enjoyed that fight, man. And the fact that you got to think about it, he smashed Jacare, so you're above Jacare. I'm just putting it out there.
I'm saying, with MMA math, I'm fucking up there.
Exactly.
It took Yoel Romero.
You're equal to Yoel. You're equal to Yoel. That's what we're gonna put it.
I'm like right there. You know what I mean? Like that guy. Rob's awesome though. I met him. We've talked. We go back and forth. And then we had a couple of times to chat in Vegas before his fight. I'm a huge fan of his. And he said he follows what I'm doing as well, and he's happy that my career is where it's going. But like you said, all those things kind of lead up to who I am now.
Yes.
The mistakes that I made in those fights, that whole time period, people might have thought that I was like I stopped fighting or something, because I left the UFC and everything wasn't as big or on as big of a stage. But that's not the case, man. Ever since my first loss to Brandon Thatch,
yes.
Who's
Before
another
the UFC, before the UFC days,
that great, since USADA. But and he's a top bloke. Like I like him. He's a really nice guy. We've chatted and stuff like that. But I mean, that's just the case. That came and a lot of people look different. But ever since that fight, I focused on my jiu-jitsu. People might have thought I was slacking off on that. But even before that fight, I was training jiu-jitsu hard. I just didn't have the cage time or the mat time.
Yes.
Hence earned my brown belt. I have 1 stripe on my brown belt now.
Nice.
I've competed in multiple IBJJF tournaments. I've won gold in every single tournament that I've been in. There's not been a tournament that I haven't won gold at. and sometimes winning double gold in the gi and no gi. So I've submerged myself into grappling. I've done Fight to Win Pro, which is a straight jiu-jitsu match. And I've won that, and that was my first match as a brown belt. So I've put myself in that grappling world, which people might have saw at one point as a weak point for me. It isn't anymore. And the one thing that I was lacking then was confidence. But I have all the confidence in the world in my ground game now. So my training for this fight, we didn't have to get too specific because I've been really just training all these things anyway. You know, obviously there's some little things that we tweak, you know, to the point where am I grappling with the grappler or am I MMA grappling with the grappler? You know, am I using punches to keep him in a certain position, or am I using punches and stuff to get myself out of a position where all of his competition for the most part where there was no punching, you know? So that's where he's most comfortable, is being able to think. But can he think when I'm throwing elbows and other strikes at him, you know, if we are to get to the ground? But I'm not afraid of the ground. I'm not afraid of him on the ground. You know, his one TKO victory came from another jiu-jitsu black belt who got tired grappling. The guy looked like he was out of shape. I'm not gonna get tired. I'm not afraid to go there. Do I want to go there? No. I mean, that's no secret. I'm a striker. I love to stand on my feet and throw down, right? No secret. I want it on the feet. He wants it on the ground. The question is who owns the middle ground? And I think that's me. I've been wrestling since I was a young kid. I've been wrestling with major MMA wrestlers, Tyron Woodley, Gerald Mershart, my roommate and teammate. You know, I've been training for this fight my entire career. It feels like this is the opportunity for me to showcase my full range of skill set, not just striking, not just wrestling, not just jiu-jitsu, offensively or defensively, but just to show the total package that I am as a fighter. And this is the perfect time. I'm so calm, so comfortable. You know, they're like, man, you know, you fight this week. I'm like, yeah. Shrug it off.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Now I'm ready to go.
It's a great stage as well, like you say. Bellator's a great one to be at, and there's a good. There's like a energy, like a flow going with Bellator at the moment, like a good momentum with them as well. So it's a great kind of thing to be part of and, you know, join on that wave.
I think so, and I'm so young too. You know, people don't understand. I'm only 27. You know, and I've only been doing MMA for about six or so years now, you know, and that's like training and everything combined. I got to the UFC, you know, after only a couple years of fighting, period. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm not near my prime, but I'm really good right now. So I feel like I can do a lot of damage before I enter my prime, and I just think this is the perfect setup for me to reintroduce myself to the world and say, hey, I'm one of the best fighters in the world. I'm one of the best fighters walking this planet. And if you put me in the cage with any given fighter on any given night, 1, I'm not afraid. 2, I'm going to bring war to them. And 3, I can win that fight.
And that's the thing. It's like I say, MMA, I always say to people, it's not a individual sport. As much as you are in there on your own, only the last very part of the fight is when you're on your own. The rest of the time, it's all about team sport. It's all about unity. And the team at Duke Rufus, it's absurd how stacked it is there. It's insane. I can't even imagine to go through the whole list because it's that long. But like you said there, straight away, let's just go with Gerald and Tyrone. Like, Gerald is one of I think he's fantastic. I know we lost against Diego Santos. It happens with fighters, it's a fight game. But he's one of the most legit, exciting middleweights in the world, period. He's so good. So happy he got signed up to the UFC. And you got Tyron Woodley, like you said there, grappling, like him shooting on you, doing wrestling. Gosh, oh my good. I tell you, that will work you out hard. My hip thrust would be flying. I'd be making holes in the floor if I had to be training with him. Do you know what I mean?
Training with that guy is crazy because you go, and the thing is, it's 3 different kind of wrestlings. You get Gerald Mershart, which never had a true wrestling background, but he came up through Nick Aguilar and their system of grappling and wrestling. So it's a dirty, mean-ass style that's different from everybody else's. Then you grapple or roll or wrestle with Tyron, where it's a whole nother level of athleticism and explosion, right? And then you go to the sloth that is Ben Askren, which is freaking magnet beam. When he
Yes.
grabs you, it's like freaking gravity. You know what I mean? It's gonna pull you in. It's gonna hold you in. There's nothing you can do about it. And so that's just kind of been what I've been trained under. You know what I mean? So I can wrestle in many different styles.
Yeah.
And I grew up wrestling myself. You know, I have one of my good friends from my hometown just won the national championship a year ago in college that I wrestle with and work with when I go back home and have a relationship with Kyvan Gatson. You know, he's second on the world team for the U.S. The dude who he beat to win college actually is the youngest or one of the youngest gold medal winners, Kyle Snyder, who beat him on.
Yes.
So
Snyder's a beast.
Yeah, my friend pinned him in collegiate wrestling to win his national championship.
Wow,
so it's like
that's big. That's big.
I have different mindsets and different coaches and bodies and people helping me out. Like you said, it's a team thing before I get in there and fight by myself. Yeah. But it's still all the stuff that my teammates and people around me have brought into my game. And so, yeah, man, I feel like I'm just on another level here.
Man, that sounds. Or I do know what it kind of got to be. Yeah, like say, I talking about the fighters that you got with you. You got your coach in Duke as well, who's. I think there is nothing to dislike about him. He seems like one of the fucking coolest people in the world. Like when I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast he did, and when you listen to all the other stuff he does, he's just so awesome. Like just adopt me, Duke.
Like,
you know, he's great.
Duke is the one that everybody knows. He has the big name and the big notoriety. And he's awesome. But if you also pay attention and look at our social media, you'll see so much praise for our other two coaches. Scott Cushman, who has traveled all over with everybody. He travels with me most of the time. I do a lot of my pad work and stuff actually with him. Duke kind of facilitates the big
the guy with. Is he the bald-headed guy? Yes, I know. Yes.
He is a mastermind of the game, and he studies, and he's been working with Duke for so long. So they actually have very similar mindsets and ways of doing things. But then there's little subtleties that you get from Kush that you don't get from Duke, that you get from Duke that you don't get from Kush. And then you throw in our jiu-jitsu coach Daniel Vanderlei, and he's transitioned and switched his mindset to make our grappling how our striking is, exciting, and the way he teaches it is the same way. So I'm blessed, man, with a great coaching staff and even better, training partners and teammates. So I'm lucky, man.
It's a recipe for that kind of progression in the fight game to be successful. So like you said, you're going through maturity of experience and fights, etc. And now you're hitting that point where it's all come together. That feeling mentally you've got that, it's all pieced together, and it does take time. That's the thing with MMA. It doesn't happen like that. It just can't happen. It takes time, experience, time in the ring, outside with coaches, and also, the biggest thing about it all is not being a big-headed bell end. You have to be kind of acceptant of your faults. You kind of have to accept that. Do you know what? My left hook is garbage. Okay, let's work on everything. Transitioning from doubles to singles, whatever you're trying to do, even in grappling, whatever you're doing, you have to accept your faults. And a lot of people don't do that. They just they kind of blank it out. They think, I don't want to accept negative stuff. I only want positives. You accept the negatives, improve that, then you fly. That's when you start going up.
I think that's the reason why I gravitate to the fighters that I gravitate to, that I like to watch, and that I like to emulate. Maybe not even always their fight style, but I like to emulate their mindset and their mentality on things. I think if you follow my social media, I think you know that I am a fanboy of Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson is one of my favorite fighters, and that's why I was pretty fucking sad that I couldn't come corner fucking Felder in Scotland and see Gunnar and be able to watch him fight live. I even told Paul, I'm like, damn, man, my main man's fighting the main event over there. But
you could get injured like now by accident and end up in Scotland still.
I love Gunnar Nelson, but I love the way he fights. One, I love the way he thinks, his mentality on things. He's always about improving. He's always about the body, the movement, and everything like that. And I like the way he analyzes things. And if you notice, I think my personality is a little bit more animated than Gunner's. I think it doesn't take a lot to be more animated than Gunner Nelson. But when it comes fight time and stuff like that, I think if you watch me fight, the calmness and the stoic, look on my face, I think I think I've always had that, but I think Gunner Nelson kind of made me feel like it was okay. A lot of fighters mean mug and do all this crazy stuff. I can't do that. That's not the person that I am,
Calm mind, calm face, just so everything's clear.
And how successful he is with that mindset, I think it just made me a little bit more comfortable in doing that for myself. So I didn't try to adopt the other stuff to fit everyone else. I stayed with what was true to me. And another fighter that I like is Demetrius Johnson. How do you continue to be the baddest man on the planet? How do you continue to win and improve without ever stumbling? Why? Is because you're listening to someone who's telling you that there's things and holes that they see, and you're improving on them without having to learn the lesson of losing. So those are fighters that I really gravitate to and I watch a lot. And not always do I implement their style, but I implement their mentality and the way they think about things. And I really like both of those fighters.
Oh, I love both of them. Like, Demetrius is fucking awesome. Best way to describe it. Pound for pound. Beautiful human being. He's an artist. He's not in there. When he's in there, it's an art form. Every time he's painting a new masterpiece. I'm hooked. I'm hooked on him every time. I will stay up till 5 in the morning to watch that man. I don't care, because obviously we're in the UK. I don't care. He's worth every bloody minute. Man, love him. Bloody hell. Look, it's been fucking awesome, right? It's been a pleasure. But before I let you go, I need you to do something for me. I need you to give a shout out to. I know there's a ton of people, but we need to give shout outs to people that maybe helped you out a little bit more in the fight camp. Maybe work with people specific, sponsors. Vital, important, as always. Just it's your time, man. Just give people a shout out.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. First and foremost, always a big shout out to my team, Rofous Sport, all my coaches, Duke Rufus, Scott Cushman, Daniel Vanderlei. I just appreciate them so much and everything that they've done for my career. My main training partners for this fight specifically has been Gerald Mershart. My other roommate, Gerald's my roommate. My other roommate, JP, he's a fighter as well, up and coming fighter. He's great, man. Look out for him coming up very, very soon with some fight announcements for him. Cam Olsen, who is on Dana White's Contender show, coming up on August 15th.
Nice.
He's a little setback for the LFA, but he's got another big opportunity. He's looking great, so I've been training with him. My sponsors, man, I got a lot of sponsors, but been a couple that have just been really, really helping me out here, and I appreciate it. Carbon World Health, best facility, best training that I've ever had as far as, physio, cardio, any of that stuff. Fit Food Milwaukee, I have not been a better athlete or contained my weight the way that I have ever in my career. So that's a big shout out to them. And it's not just one of those, hey, they sponsor me, let me give them a shout out. You can look at my body transformation and you'll look at my performance and see what they've done for me. Combat Corner, I don't rock any other gear to train in. Protect my hands, feet, head, everything with that gear is awesome. Diamond MMA Cup, don't want to take no shots to the groin. I want to have kids in the future, not in a rush, but Diamond MMA is for sure. Other than that, I only rock Smuggling Duds, which is out of the UK. Underwear, top notch. Love those guys. They send me all the underwear I need. Only thing I wear. My beard don't look as good as yours, but Mod Cabin takes care of what you see here. It's fun. I still got some patches, but
yeah, you'll get there. You'll grow a proper beard one day. It's okay.
One day. So it's good. So shout out to Mod Cabin. I appreciate everything they do for me. Twisted Fate Tattoos in Waterloo, Iowa. Actually in the Cedar Valley, done all my ink on me, was my first ever sponsor. First ever, before I even had a fight. And they've been sticking with me and rolling with all the punches all the way through.
Nice.
The Wisconsin Athletic Club, thank you for letting us use your facilities. It's great. All the Rofous Sport fighters, Paul Felder included, loves when he comes to town. He can use that. Iowa Bison, thank you for all the product and all the lean meat that you send me. Lean meat. I know it's terrible to say like that, so I got to segue away from that the right way. Thank you to those guys. I appreciate everything that they've done for me and that they continue to do for me as far as just giving me support. Shout out to Grit Mouthguard. They just made me a new one. It says rest in peace or RIP to my niece who passed away from breast cancer in October of this past year. So I'm hoping I can get that before the fight. It says that it should be here tomorrow after I already leave. So I'm going to see if someone can overnight that to me.
Yeah.
But, those are the companies that look out for me. And I am more than grateful to them. You can follow me on social media, Team Rock Biggie, TEAMROC, BIGGIE. That is Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Mike Biggie Rhodes fan page over on Facebook. BiggieMMA.com is the website. Make sure you tune in. I'm on the live stream, so I think you can get that on SpikeTV.com.
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah, I think they put it on. They'll put the Bellator post links up for it. But what I'll do, I think as well. Yeah, it'll be via the Spike website, but I don't know if they might do it via the Facebook Spike website as well. The page on there. I think I've seen it on there before as well. I'll have to look into it a bit again. But I'll put in people the kind of social media stuff in the description below anyway. When if I can see the link before it, if it's up at any chance, like where to go to for it coming on, I'll stick that in the comment, the comment bit down below, people. But yeah, look, Mike, it's going to be awesome to see you back on the kind of big stage. And everything sounds like it's coming together nicely. So I'm looking forward to seeing this awesome performance. I'll be in Glasgow at the time, so I'll be rocking and watching it. I might even grab Felder, because I'll bring my laptop. I'm assuming he might have a laptop. If not, he can watch it with me. And we could all watch it and watch it throw down, my man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. This is the reintroducing of myself to the public. Blame Biggie, man. We're fucking coming. I'm gonna take over Bellator, man. Starting with this fight, I know they just signed Gegard Mousasi, so before that there wasn't really a big name in the middleweight division. So I'm figuring he'll steal my thunder and he'll probably get the title fight before I get the chance to rack up a fight or two and get it. But I look forward to fighting him. Yeah. Welcome. I'll fight them all comers. So I'm excited. I'm happy. Bellator 181. Make sure you guys check it out.